Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's question is one that many people struggle with. Why does Isaiah 45:7 say that God created evil? In this video, I'll break down the answer from a biblical perspective. And as always, stick around until the end because I'll be sharing some helpful resources that will dive even deeper into this topic. Now let's start by understanding the context of Isaiah 45:7, which is part of a larger prophecy in Isaiah 45:1-7. In these verses, the prophet Isaiah is speaking about God's sovereign will, and in particular about God's plan to use King Cyrus of Persia as his chosen instrument. Now, here's the kicker. Cyrus wasn't even born yet at the time of this prophecy, and he didn't know the Lord or follow him. Yet God declares that he will use this foreign king to conquer Babylon for the sake of his people, Israel. He declares, "There is none beside me. I am the Lord and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things." Isaiah 45:6-7 KJV. Oh, what's going on here? How could God, who is all good and holy, say that he creates evil? To understand this, we need to dig into the Hebrew word for evil used here. The word in question is ra, which can have several meanings in the Bible, and it's important to recognize the context in which it's used. In many places, ra refers to moral evil, things like wickedness, sin, or corruption. But in Isaiah 45:7, it's actually used in a different sense, referring to calamity, disaster, or adversity. In other words, God is not saying he creates moral evil or sin. Instead, he is saying that he sometimes brings about negative events, what we might call disasters, calamities, or afflictions, to accomplish his purposes. To make this clearer, let's look at a few modern Bible translations. The HCSB says, "I make success and create disaster." The ESV says, "I make well-being and create calamity." And the NLT says, "I send good times and bad times." So God is not the creator of moral evil, but rather he allows and sometimes even uses calamities and disasters to fulfill his greater purposes. Now let's zoom out and think about what this means for our understanding of God's sovereignty. God, in his goodness, allows certain negative events, whether personal or national, to occur in order to bring about a greater good. We see this throughout the Bible. For example, he used the Babylonian exile to dissimilarly disaster to lay low, but later would turn into one of the greater goods. He used Cyrus to bring them back to their land. God's ultimate purpose is not for us to suffer, but for us to become spiritually mature, to grow closer to him, and to understand his righteousness and salvation. Sometimes that means going through dark and difficult times, but he promises to work even those difficult experiences together for our good. As it says in Romans 8:28, we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Ultimately, God is in control of all things, both light and darkness, peace and calamity, and he uses everything for his greater purposes. Just as he used Cyrus for the good of his people Israel, he can use the circumstances in our lives, even the painful ones, to accomplish his will. Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And let me know in the comments, what questions do you have about God's sovereignty or the problem of evil? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, remember, God is good and he works all things together for our good. Take care.